What's up, guys? Nolan here. So, decided to make sure I put a bit of an intro on this one because there's a couple things I got to cover when it comes to the Broken Arrow stuff. So, this is all new Broken Arrow footage because nobody has seen this before. So, this is from my gameplay of the last beta where I obviously played, I think I played like another 200 hours or something ridiculous like that. I basically didn't stop playing. Except practically all. There literally was maybe 3 or 4 of these dozens and dozens of games that I played that were with a team in Discord. I play almost all, and I really do mean almost all of my games solo, where I'm not in Discord with anybody because I know that it helps me really actually understand the state of the game from a normal player's perspective, because this game is popular enough that loads of people, loads of people, and I'm sure some of you guys listening to this right now are in this boat, play without a team. You don't know who to talk to, you don't know where to go, you don't know, what you should be communicating specifically about and with who and when and things like that. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to pick up. The learning curve is pretty significant, and then, the skill curve is also pretty significant as well. In terms of like when to do what and why, and use when and why and things like that. It's astronomical. So to actually see what new players do from a realistic perspective, that's why I play. And then also, most of these games I've been in a position to be able to teach a lot of people things while in game in real time, and then also do some pretty cool carries where pretty much every single game that you'll see out there for any other content creator, because they all play in team stacks, or at least a couple of players in a Discord call, it's going to be blowouts. Like, they win pretty much every single game because all you need to do is have a team, whether the team is actually a full stack or you have even 2 or 3 players that just know the units, just know what units are good, know what units are bad, and know how the point system works. You're going to win every single game. That is just the reality. You're going to win almost all your games. The only time that it actually runs into any problem there is if you run into another team stack, and that other team stack actually understands the game a bit better, or they're just better at running a team stack, or they're better at, molly-whopping or what's the word, ganking one side of the map better than you. That's all it comes down to. There is some significant balance issues in the game in its current state, and what I mean by current is that last beta that we had, which is why I implore the devs. I really hope they're going to be doing at least a few more tests. The game is supposed to release in 4 months. Scratch that. This might be, this might be March. Some of you guys are listening to this, but the news is there's going to be news coming this week in 2 days. On Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, we're supposed to be getting a stream on Twitch where they're going to be talking about some single-player stuff. Let's fingers crossed they talk a little bit about what's going on the multiplayer side of things. Hopefully they announce that they're either going to be looking to test the game again or straight up give us a date on when they're going to be able to test the game again or something like that, because the game really needs it. When you actually get down to the bare bones of the game, it's got some significant balance issues. And then also there was the cheating too. That was my video when they announced it's going to release in June. Hopefully it still is going to release in June. We'll see if that actually pops up on Wednesday too. Maybe they're going to delay it again or something. We'll see. But that cheating obviously was an issue. Every single game I'm involved with, of course, is full of cheaters, and who knows if it's ever going to go away for any of these games. I don't know what's going on with that side of things, other than people like to cheat for some reason, unfortunately. So if that doesn't go away, that's going to be a significant issue. But fingers crossed there, knock on wood on that one, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Hopefully that doesn't become more significant of an issue. I'm sure some people will cheat in some way, but for it to be as bad as it was when they did the last test, definitely at the end of the last test, that is a situation where it would need to be like all in-house games, and then even then some people are going to sneak through and it would have to be like some kind of system where everybody's verified on Discord, and then if somebody is accused of cheating, you know, you keep an eye on that person. It can hopefully be a tight-knit community, enough of a tight-knit community that, you know, you actually see that somebody's cheating and that person gets banned, and then hopefully it is pretty rare at that point because it's so quick to report people and then get them out of there. They want to risk their accounts and things like that, so we can see if something like that can pop up. But the game's pretty damn popular, so there's going to be some pretty widespread stuff going on there. And going back to the original topic of people understanding the game and things like that, actually understanding the balance, actually understanding what to do and how to do it and things like that, that is obviously going to take some more teaching in these games because I was solo. I didn't know how the game was going to go. I didn't really know what talking points would pop up. And then not to mention, I just kind of wanted to play the game. I didn't really want to make it a commentary. I didn't really want to make it a video. I just wanted to play the game. And a lot of the guys that are, and girls that are watching this content that I'm putting up as it is, you guys are getting the point. You're seeing what units I'm using. You're seeing how I'm using them. And at least it's transferring some info to you guys. But what I'm going to do is once the game is in a more final state, I'll be able to really diagnose everything, really chomp on everything that we have in place, the balance of the units, the balance of the nations, the balance of the maps, the gameplay, all that stuff. And then, of course, I will be doing tutorials so that you guys can eventually play the way that I play, like what I did with the original beta a couple of years back with the setting up your front line and things like that. Most, if not all, of that information is still very useful, by the way. If they keep the game somewhat similar to the last beta, it will be very useful information, and you guys will see me doing that in this gameplay that I'm posting here. So, yeah, not talking too much, but that's the gameplay. Unfortunately, with all of these, every single one of these games, there was some kind of audio issue. There was a weird buzzing in the background that is, I can't remove it. It's unfixable. It was tied into the actual audio file itself because I had some overlapping inputs because of the complex streaming setup that I had at that location. I have since moved. I'm using 2 PCs. When I was at that location, I used 3 PCs, 1 to record, 1 to play on, 1 to stream on, which can, if done correctly, create an environment for some really cool setups for like creating content and stuff like that. But then I ended up becoming a lazy motherfucker. So I'm back down to 2, and I'll try and, you know, well, it's already fixed, so there's not going to be any more, well, knock on wood on that one. There should not be any more buzzing for anything, including on stream and things like that. So now there should be some better quality stuff, and I'm going to try and keep it simple and cut some things out of the loop in terms of complexity of the recordings and the streams and whatnot, and just get down to bare bones. Just you get gameplay, you talk over it, and obviously if I'm playing with people, then you'll hear us talking back and forth. But if it comes down to the raw gameplay like this, I've got, I don't know, 30 other games that are genuinely like interesting to watch. Some interesting things happen. Of course, as you guys know, with the only 2 nations available and a fixed setup of the specs, the specializations, there's only so many things that can happen. It's going to be, if you're Russia, you're going to be dominating all around, whether it be on the air or the ground. You're using T-15s and tanks on the ground, or you're using the significantly more, you know, well, the significantly more, what do they want to call it, advanced or just diverse setup that you would get on the Russian planes, making them completely dominant in the last beta. That's what you're going to see. If you're the United States, it's going to basically come down to some helicopters, because the helicopters are pretty useful all around, with the Apache and the Super Cobras and the Cobras with their Sidewinders and their ability to kill stuff on the ground. Some Abrams here and there, air here and there a little bit, but the U.S., when it comes down to it, was significantly outgunned by Russia. If both players know what they were doing, you know exactly the only thing that Americans could really only do to defeat Russia if they had an actual proper setup was keep some Abrams alive, but they're going to die eventually. Your anti-air was no match for what Russia could put out if you had a proper anti-air, aka seed setup and bombing setup and things like that. And when it comes down to it, it becomes an air war with the F-35s and the F-18s and the F-15s, which are all around more expensive and less equipped than what Russia could put out. So that's why Russia was constantly winning the air wars. And I guess there was also some bugs going on with the seed and stuff like that. That was making, again, because Russia had the faster seed planes and the more maneuverable and the more survivable seaplanes, they were just constantly winning. So a lot of these games, you'll see that pattern, which is why I start to get some fancier stuff going. I think yesterday's video, I was putting some recon around the sides, and there's another video where I pretty much build up an entire forward operating base with fully functioning front line and everything, literally next to a spawn. I think I have a couple of videos of that, an enemy spawn, and it completely just evaporated the other team because they were having to fight a fully functional, fully equipped, fully infrastructured front line literally next to one of their spawns, and it shut them down pretty quick. So that's something that's possible with this game because of all the airlift capability and things like that. So some interesting stuff like that going on there. But generally speaking, you'll see a bunch of gameplay of T-15s rolling over people, Abrams running over people, air power, things like that. And exactly one video where I was like, you know what, I'm going to give infantry a real try. I'm going to use infantry. And most of you, if you have been following my videos and you understand the game, know probably how that went anyway. And that deserves a topic on its own. It's because infantry sucks. So that's a pretty good ongoing topic in the community as is. That infantry sucks. Infantry it's a supporting unit when it doesn't need to be. It's cool. There's cool things that you can do. You should be able to do. And there was one specific post on the Broken Arrow Discord that really spoke to me. And I think a lot of people ended up liking it too. And I hope it got to the eyeballs of the devs too, where these, as small as this is in terms of location, in terms of map size and stuff like that, these areas of operation, however you pronounce that, the AOs, the areas of operations, whatever, it really would be, I mean, at minimum, platoon to like company size, like minimum elements fighting in these locations. Like you could take any specific block and there shouldn't be 30 dudes fighting there, which would be like the most, because there's a bunch of squads that are like 5-man and 10-man and things like that. But if you use your full capability of points, sure, you could go up to like a company size eventually, but then that's what you got. You're super slow, and you've got some infantry that can maybe fight street to street a little bit, but it's not realistic. Like, infantry needs a lot of work. Vehicles just are better. They're just better. The air war, significantly better, because if you keep your planes alive, you'll keep those points to be able to bring something else out. Vehicles, you keep a couple on the ground, they'll be able to get out of danger. They're more survivable. They have more firepower. Sure, there's less of them, but it's just better. It just is. So, see, and it's not like I don't want to use infantry. I use plenty of recon squads and stuff like that because they are effective support units. So we'll see what's going on with that. And like I said, no commentary because I just kind of felt like playing the game, and that was kind of where my state of mind was at. So if you guys want commentary, you'll have to wait for those tutorial videos, or you can go watch other people that are I guess more entertaining from a banter standpoint, but they are playing in games that are just roles because they're playing against 5 level 3s that don't really know how to play, and every single person in their team knows all the units, knows the maps, and at any moment it can be like, hey, I need help here, and then within 30 seconds you've got at least a couple other people's worth of air tabs over you, or helicopters or things like that, and it's not realistic to the game. So that's why I played my games solo, because you actually get a real understanding of what most players experience in the game is from a fighting perspective. Like, you're fighting against them, but also I literally see those players making those mistakes because they're on my team. and I think it's a much more useful way of like understanding where the state of the game and things like that. And it's worrying with how popular the game it has been and where it looks to be going. It's very worrying that that is where it is. So hopefully, you know what? I'm not. They better do at least 2 more tests before June, at least, because I truly believe this game needs significant more balance, significant. And hopefully we get to see some more with what's going on with American Air. Obviously, there's some things missing. And that's going to be a video. I'm probably going to do that tomorrow where I'll talk about what they've been posting on Patreon. And if you don't follow these guys on Patreon, Steel Ball Leica, I'll link it in the description. Go follow the Patreon guys. I think it's like $1 a month, at $1 US a month. And you get to see all the stuff that they're working on and that they've showed off. And you can scroll down years and see the stuff that they're working on. So we're missing B-2s. We're missing stealth helicopters. We're missing more special forces. Obviously, the Raptor is going to be in there. Obviously, there's different F-35s. There's more F-35s. So I think when it comes down to it, I think actually, why am I saying I think? I know the U.S. Air tab is going to get way spicier, way spicier between the Raptor and the other types of F-35s. As you may know, the F-35B, what was it? Actually, I'm looking at my yeah, F-35. I was looking at my footage there while I'm talking over here. F-35B, it seemed pretty weird that it carried as much as it did. It seemed pretty low of a payload, and that's because it was it should be the VTOL version. So in order to leave room for the engines and whatnot, the actual weapons bay was smaller. So the Air Force version and just the short takeoff landing version, if I'm getting that correctly, maybe the B is the, you know what, I'm just gonna look that up. F-35B. Correct. So the F-35B is the VTOL. So in order to have the engine be able to pop out the top and things like that, it needed the space that took up the bomb bay. So the Air Force version doesn't need that. It's just got the regular engine, so you should be able to bring way more payload. Maybe not way more. Maybe it's double at most, but we'll see what it can actually carry, what they're going to have it balanced to carry. And also see if they're going to allow us to put some pylons underneath the wings as well for decreased stealth. Not sure what that's going to look like. Same thing goes for the Raptor as well, though, too, because should be able to put some ground attack stuff in there, and should also have the ability to put pylons on that if we want to for a decrease in stealth. And I mean, hell, we've got F-16s, we've got other F-15s, we've got other F-18s. The Growler, the Seed sucked. Seed sucked for the U.S. I understand the Prowler was 200 points or whatever. It's extremely slow. You can't overkill with the missiles. So if you put it on a run, it might get 2 off by the time it doesn't overkill. By the time because it's not going to send multiple. You can't do the overkill thing. So or you can't send more than 1 at a time, which guess what? It's going to get intercepted and it's not going to hit. And then you got to do a circle. It's just super slow. I loved to munch on those Prowlers with Su-35s and things like that as Russian airborne. So God forbid we get, some proper setups where it's not the F-15EX that's 5 million points to get out there, and also you're wasting your potential by making it purely seed. Hopefully we get some Growlers. Hopefully we get some Wild Weasels with the F-16s. Something that is actually useful and cheap and capable of like fighting the seed and things like that. So we'll see what specs that we get at launch. I'm expecting it to be the full setup. I believe that's going to be 5 or 6 specs per nation. And if they end up testing, which I really, really hope, they need to do more tests before full release. We see how many specs we get, and we'll see if the U.S. Airborne actually shows up, where they made the whatever U.S. Airborne this is. It's not actually. That's more of like a air assault than it is airborne. It's just like, what's going on there? Can't believe there's no Raptors. There was no new F-35. everything had an ECM of 2. It just or whatever. It just might as well be 2. Yeah, so hopefully that goes well. We're going to be getting news on Wednesday, and now I'm just talking in circles. Enjoy the rest of this footage. Gonna have, like I said, probably like 30 more games, but the buzzing's in the background, and I don't really talk much until the end. I do like a little debrief. If you guys haven't watched these videos to the end, at the very end I do a little bit of debrief on what happened in the game, why I used what units, and if I made a little bit of a change to the deck, on top of just showing the deck in general. If you guys wanted to check those out and use it for the next test, that's there as well. And some useful information at the end there. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to stay consistent with the Broken Arrow stuff because I'm pretty excited about it. And thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Otherwise, hope you have a nice day. Bye.
Тактический грузовик готов к перевозке. Кому нужны припасы? Машина разведки готова. Принял. Выдвигаюсь. Уже еду. Камов на приеме. Куда вас довезти? Машина разведки, слушает. Спецназ ГРУ на приеме. Дома есть кто-нибудь? Граната идет первой. Так точно, заходим. Армейская авиация слушает. Заводи мотор. Транспорт ждет приказов. Приказ понял, выезжаем. Приказ понял, едем. Резерв. Двигаюсь к точке. Выдвигаемся. Куда вас доставить? Заводи мотор. Транспорт на связи. Принял. Выдвигаюсь. Есть подавлять огнем. Транспорт здесь. Такси подано. Сближаемся. Приказ понял, выезжаем. Камов на связи. Принял в виду огонь на подавление. Противовоздушная оборона. На приеме. Камов слушает. Камов на приеме. Противовоздушная оборона. Докладываю. Двигаюсь к точке. Уже еду. Вы в шоке? Мы должны двигаться. Дави на газ. Пути. Приказ понял. Едем. Армейская авиация слушает. Грузовой автомобиль готов. довести?
Да, командир.
Нужно сбить вертолет?
Разведка на связи.
Машина готова.
Аллигатор на связи.
ПВО ждет цели. Снабжение заказывали. ПВО на связи. Принял. Выдвигаем. Противовоздушная оборона здесь. Двигаюсь к точке. Логистика готова. Грузовик снабжения готов к транспортировке. Машина разведки здесь.
Камов на приеме. Координаты принял. Координаты принял, выдвигаюсь. Летим.
Сами не летаем и другим не даем. Тактический грузовик готов к перевозке. Боевая машина разведки ждет приказа. Логистика здесь. Противовоздушная оборона здесь. Транспорт ждет приказа. Выдвигаемся.
Вертушки на приеме.
Противовоздушная оборона. Слушаю.
Вертушки здесь. Камов слушает. ГРУ слушает.
Транспорт заказывали? Приказ понял. Выезжаем. Заводи мотор. Транспорт на связи. Давай штору.
Вертикальная на связи.
Мы ввязались в драку. ПВО на связи.
Армейская авиация слушает.
ПВО, докладываю.
Вертушки на приеме.
Борт на связи. Сделаю. Да, командир. Принял новый ПВО. Принял. Принял новый ПВО. Лишь бы лэп не зацепить. Тяжелый транспорт здесь. Пути. Транспорт, слушаю. Приказ понял, выезжаем. ПВО ждет целей. Задание выполнено. Возвращаемся. Приказ понял, едем.
Камов на связи. Летим туда.
Уже еду. Транспорт здесь. Заводи мотор.
Армейская авиация слушает.
Куда вас довести? Двигаюсь к точке. Принял. Выдвигаюсь. Куда вас доставить? Транспорт ждет приказа. Выдвигаемся. Врубай штору. Приказ понял. Едем. Заводи мотор. Приказ понял. Выезжаем. Двигаюсь к точке. Отходим в резерв. Пути. Принял. Выдвигаюсь.
Камов слушает.
Транспорт на связи. Доворачиваем на курс. Координаты получены. Доворачиваем. Ныряем под радар.
Вертикальная на связи.
Транспорт ждет приказа. Противовоздушная оборона. Докладываю. Противовоздушная оборона. На приеме. Уже еду.
Зенитки слушаю. Где мы нужны?
Might be the new and improved. Do you have two? Yeah, we do. Two S300s, Vityaz, because the Vityaz started working. Pantsir against helicopters, but I don't know. Still have 5 Beryusas. I'm wondering if the Beryusa is better than the Strelets in terms of interception, but it really shouldn't be, right? A little too late there on the end there, Chief. Sometimes you gotta go with the smaller bombers first, boys. Don't just bomb everything with a 1,000-point bomber. But yeah, there were a couple times that could have gotten a bunch of my stuff, but Generally speaking, just boring game against new players, which might end up. Wait, how the fuck did I? Oh, did it run out of fuel? Don't know what happened there. But I guess it's a good way of showing how to take that piece of the map there. Clearly he could see some of my supply depots. I'm not sure how. Maybe there was a global hawk up in the back, which could be one of the downsides for this deck. Don't really have eyes out unless I put a plane up. But that would be difficult to try and figure out exactly how I want to do that. It was this one right here. I mean, I got room for it, actually. Wait, I got a lot of room for it. Ditch this. I'm going to ditch 2 BVMs. I'm going to put some BVMs back. Stop. I should have done that. We're doing 3 BVMs, 3 T90s, 6 T15s. Keep some room in the back here. I'm now remembering there were a lot of times where this wasn't shooting at stuff. I wonder what was that about. Still the same price. For some reason it was having issues engaging things. Can easily fit one more there. Maybe that's what we do. We just watch out for those what's its faces. It's a little annoying not having seed. But I can do the cruise missiles. Are those 10Ks? Those are 10Ks. But I have the 3 really fast ones. The speedy boys on this one. This one has yet to fail me. Those are the ones you can get on the MiG. I don't think I want this plane out there, though. I think we'll leave it at that. I think we'll leave it like that. And I was kind of messing with those guys a little bit with the AA net there, and obviously putting the singular T-15 behind their line. Those guys are obviously new, trying to have a bit of fun with their bombers. But that artillery was annoying. And I wish there was replay so I could see if they had like a recon or if it was the Global Hawk that was spotting those caches, because they could definitely see some of that stuff for sure. All right, we're going to leave it as is. Till next time.